Hey, welcome to the Psychic Soul Healer channel. I decided to jump on after my show tonight to do a quick message. I don't know, for whoever that lands on it, whoever that's going to resonate with this message. Because, like I said, it was a last minute thing. As you could tell, my green screen is still up and it really shouldn't be. Actually, that would be really distracting to me. So I am going to take that down. Don't mind the mess. And don't mind the noise. I just can't. I have OCD and that kind of shit bothers me. Bothers me. Again, the healer channel is all about healing. And it means that we are going to look not just at what's going on in your life, not what's happening, just what's happening within your connection, but also what's going on karmically, what your spiritual karmic lessons are, and how to integrate the spiritual wound, because in order to heal, to transcend the limitations of your situations, especially when they're negative, obviously, is to actually look at your experience spiritually. And so that's what the Psychic Soul Hero channel is all about. So if you're new to the channel, just sit here, watch, you'll get what I'm talking about. And if you resonate with this type of a reading, do me a favor, give me a like, subscribe to the channel, and write the magic word in your comment bar. What is the magic word? I don't know. Let's see what it is. Happy 4th of July. Okay, the gift of style. I like this one because the gift of style is all about your unique individuality. It's about your unfoldment process, and why it's again associated with your unique individuality is because how we create is really part of our own self-expression, and no one can duplicate that. People can tend to try to emulate that, but they can never copy it 100%. So the gift of style is not just about your unique essence and your individual style, your unfoldment process and how you create your life and your life experiences, but it's also how you connect to God, how you connect to each other on a different level. So this is a great card because this is telling me that you're in a place of healing again, and healing through the act of creating. How do you create a new neurological pathway? By creating new experiences. Again, new experiences over time create new neurological pathways within the mind, which means that there's new behaviorisms, new habits, which help you transcend the limitations of your ego. And really, right, our subconscious mind is the part of our mind that pretty much is running the show, and that's where our wounds are at. So a lot of times people say that they can't heal because they just feel like they can't. They just automatically say, I keep living the same experiences. Well, the reason why is because they try to control their experiences. This isn't about control. This is about creating yourself and letting the unfoldment process happen. And that's, again, part of your creative genius. So you can only heal because you're becoming the vibration of unconditional love by doing what you love, by, again, expressing yourself, by finding your unique style. Okay, and that's a big deal. Now, this energy is, again, I never take it out. And the reason why is because I feel like it adds an element to the reading. And the element is there's nothing on this card. It's like a joker card. So I would look at this as a person that doesn't have an identity, a person that's a chameleon, a person that can tend to become what their environment wants them to become. And a lot of times when we grow up in very imbalanced environments where we feel that it's not safe to truly express who we are, we don't form an identity because we're in the survival part of our mind. The survival part of the mind is not the creative mind. The creative mind is that creative genius, the spirit part of self that allows us to have the gift of style. So again, I'm feeling person is in a place of healing because, again, there's nothing here. And if there was nothing here, it's because I wasn't allowed to create myself. And it might not be, oh, you weren't allowed, but maybe you didn't feel safe. Maybe the things that you were into, or just the fact that you were different. A lot of highly sensitive people have this. When they're seen as different, it's seen as, oh, you shouldn't stand out. You should try to blend in. You should try to, conform to this way or that way because your life will run better. And who tells us that? Our family, our society, just people in general. So again, healing is needed for so many reasons, not all the time through abuse. But what this is saying is, again, that you did not, whether it was because of abuse or whether it was because, again, you just didn't feel safe. The mind doesn't know the difference. So it sees it as a samskara, a trauma. And that trauma is that you don't like who you are because the part of you that doesn't know who you are has labeled. And the only way to heal that is through the gift of style. So it's, again, talking about deep healing. Now, I always look at your individual energy first to say, where are you coming from? Why? Because, again, when the situation unfolds with a soulmate or a twin flame, we want to be able to differentiate who's triggering who and why. Because the behaviorism and the habit are coming from the trigger. That's why. So right now, what this is saying is you're in a place of healing. You're in a place of, you're in a good place, because when you're healing and you're finding your gift of style, again, this is comes from the higher self, the God part of self that works through gut, intuition, inner knowing. And it's like, again, it's like from clairsentient, which is you can feel it. It's claircognizance is I don't know how I know, I just know. And you're being led, and this is the spiritual path, and that is how you really allow your gift of style to unfold. So you can't be in a negative energy. So this card was flipped over, nervousness. And I feel that you're connected to somebody that, because you're in this place of creating yourself, is making them very nervous. You are transcending your fear energy by, again, creating yourself. Because when there's a part of yourself that doesn't know who you are, then this is where fear comes in, because there's this, what we don't know is usually what we don't like, because the mind will put a label on what we don't know. Even so, if we go through an experience that was traumatic to us, and that trauma could be from a relationship, then the mind doesn't really have an explanation of why certain things happen. It's just, you're not safe. That person's not safe. It's very cut and dry. It's very logical. It's very analytical. Like, what I see is what I know is what I believe, just the facts. You went through an experience. The experience didn't make you feel safe. Doesn't matter if it's psychological or emotional or just like a physical. The mind doesn't know the difference. So it's going to create boundaries. It's going to create like blocks to whatever it is that you're going to try to manifest. So, like I said, I feel like you were attached to somebody that had very similar energy to you, meaning you weren't allowed to form your identity. They weren't allowed to form their identity. And at one time, you were a vibrational match. And you could be an adult now and still say, well, there's shadow parts of myself that I don't know who I am, which would create separation. So we are always a vibrational match of who and what comes into our life. How those behaviorisms are channeled out are different due to, again, whatever experiences that we went through that made us have that core belief. So what I'm saying is that you're in a place of healing and evolving into a higher state of consciousness. So you are not at the same vibration as this person, and this person can feel it, and they're very nervous about it because they're seeing a difference within inside of you. So at one time, I'm feeling like you gave a lot of attention and time, and it might have not even been a lot of attention, but every time this person came into your life, you gave them time, which showed them that they were important. So you might say, well, every time they came around, I talked to them, but I didn't give them a lot of time. To you, it wasn't a lot of time, but to a person that comes in and out of your life, and every time you give them the hour or however much time it is, and then you allow them to leave again, there's a sense of that you care, you will settle for less. Now, what you're showing is you're not doing that because you're investing in yourself. Again, and this card tells me that. So, this is the overall energy that I'm feeling, the spiritual energy. So, you're in a high vibration. You're connected to someone that's not on a high vibration. You, again, are on a fun unfoldment process. And this is, again, making the person that you're connected to extremely nervous. So, let's look at some hidden truths. What do they feel about you? What do they feel about you? Holy Spirit, please tell us what this person feels about the person that I am, again, reading for. I hid who I really am from you. So this person, again, they don't like that part of themselves. There's a part of themselves that are empty. So because they feel empty, they again hid who they were, because again, when the mind cannot figure out why certain things have happened that didn't bring us joy, they were undesirable life experiences, it has to put a label on it. And that label is usually, well, you're defective, you're not good enough, you should feel shame, you should feel guilt, you should feel, when there's not. And this creates a separation from self. And it, again, the only thing that heals it is to create yourself. And so they hid who they were, and I wish I could share my good news with you. So they're always thinking of you. And I really do. And I regret lying to you. So you changing is making this person look at their behaviorisms, finding out the truth brushed me. So it's, again, seeing, I think they view the fact that you look at them like there's something wrong with them because of how you act now. So they're like, the truth about you finding out about me crushed me. And that's because, again, they were living a facade. And a lot of people that have spiritual wounds, again, they're not going to show their wounds. They're going to wear a mask. They're not going to let you up close. They're going to have intimacy issues. So what this tells me is, because this person was always coming from a place of fear, they were always playing games. They were trying to hold on to you by like manipulating you. And now that you see this, they don't like it. Hey, Wendy, how you doing? How you doing tonight? Happy 4th of July. Happy 4th of July. Yes, they were. Good. And I'm hanging in there. We will be together again soon, darling, though. So there you go. I mean, and that not uncommon for people that, again, that have a connection and then are forced to see. Again, there's no greater catalyst than when you're connected to somebody that views you as being weak, and then you show them a different part of you, and they really had feelings for you, but they played a lot of games to keep you like from not moving forward, to keep you stuck in fear, because that's where they are. They're in a place of fear. And so once they see that you found out all about them, it crushes them, because, because they regret lying, they regret playing that role. So really, unfortunately, the only thing that you could do is disconnect from that person, because which is what you did, Right, too scared to make a move, but understand, what is that bringing out in you? What that's bringing out in you is a fear of like inadequacy, like you're not doing whatever, And of course he's mad because he just wants you to give in to like what he wants to do. But why I'm saying that is because you can transform your situation by understanding that. Because spirit has brought this person into your life to show you that perception. That perception isn't your truth unless you make it your truth, which is like, you're making me feel not wanted. You're making me feel not good enough, even though I know that you have feelings for me. So you play a lot of fucking games to try and keep me from holding on. However, if you put your energy to yourself, which is, this is what it was saying the gift of style, putting that energy into yourself is your unfoldment process of who you're supposed to be, because you're connected to this person through a trauma bond. They're not giving you anything. They're making you feel as if there's something like off with you. That's they no one should be able to make you feel that way. So that was a wisdom that they brought in to your life. It doesn't mean that they don't care about you. They're obviously a soul mate. They just don't feel good about themselves to come to you and say, hey, Wendy, this is like the truth. I want to treat you. I have feelings for you, so I'm going to do the right thing. No, instead, there's parts of them that don't like who he is. And so what it is I won't let you get close, because if you get close, you're going to perceive you're not going to like me anymore because I don't like me. And so they play games. And so bottom line is, when you put the energy into yourself and love yourself, you're forcing this person to look at what they did. And you're forcing this person to regret what they did, because it's not the fact that they don't have feelings. They do. Otherwise, they wouldn't fucking regret it. They wouldn't, again, they wouldn't be mad. They wouldn't show any feeling or emotion at all if they didn't care. That's how you know you got them. You see what I'm saying? Their issue is to make you mad so that you stay stuck. When you create, what you're saying is, I'm not stuck. I'm at the highest vibration that there is, because I'm giving myself the love that you won't give me. And in that, I create a new life. And that takes me further away from you energetically, and that scares the shit out of the person. So, I mean, because this person is like, we'll be together again. They'll understand. You may be like, no, you won't, motherfucker. But understand, if this person's a real twin, you really don't have a choice, because you'll be like, I love that person, even though that they're an asshole. And then spirit says, well, that's because you have to find balance in your situation. And so, like, and love is all about not controlling. And that's why he's mad, because he's like, fuck, I can't control this bitch. She's not like doing what I want her to do, which would make it easy for me, which is, I don't want to be vulnerable. Where you're like, well, I don't want to be put in that position. So that's why you're in this power struggle. But the person is like, lies to themselves in order to stay there, to be like, I know that we'll be together again. I know that we'll be together again. And you actually know that you'll be together again soon. But you're like, why all this shit? And the reason why is because they have wounds. They have wounds. Which is, again, I love you unconditionally. Didn't I tell you? It's like, of course, we know this, because this person, like I said, you can't control it. You're gonna want to control it. But God says, this is divine union. This is divine union. When it's unconditional love, that's me. That's me. That's how you know. You mean, so you're like, what the fuck am I supposed to do about this? It's like you have to balance less energy towards this person, because this person is going to want to make you control, going to want to keep you in a place of fear. You put the control onto yourself. That's the issue. It's like, and doesn't mean that they're not going to get mad. Listen, how they manipulate you is, I'm going to emotionally cut myself off from you, because I know that that's the weapon of choice that's going to affect you most. So, which is the ego. So remember, they have to surrender their ego in order to get to that place of unconditional love. And you say, well, why do I have to deal with it? And spirit says, well, that's where your healing comes into play. It's like when you stand in your truth and you see that eventually it changes, and that's going to change depending on how much energy you put into yourself. Right. But you may need to cut this person off energetically, because even though you cut this person off, you're angry. It's a soul's connection. So you can feel when that person's around, and they can feel when you're around, tapped in. And that's the energy. I don't know how my dog just got in here. There's no room to like to get into get in. So just enough for him. Please be patient with me. So I feel like they're gonna talk to you, Wendy. They're gonna talk to you soon. You know, they are gonna reach out, because but they may do it not in a place where they're like, oh, I'm sorry. Again, it may be some lame, like, I'm sorry, but you'll notice by their actions that they're sorry, um, which is really annoying. Right, but that's the thing. It's like you are more than patient. You are. But understand, like, the issue is the fact that it's unconditional, meaning you have to get to a place of like complete like surrender, meaning I love this person unconditionally, and I'm not, what they do however is not going to affect me, meaning I'm going to fill my cup up so that it overflows. And when it does, the bullshit that they do won't affect me. And what I'll also notice is they'll do that, they'll do it a lot less, because it's not about you being patient. Because it's almost like God saying, well, you're learning unconditional love, which means, remember, oh, unconditional love, but like when Jesus was on the cross, like a crucifixion, that's the level that we're supposed to forgive. And it's like this person is actually doing that to you emotionally. They're almost crucifying you emotionally, and you're the need to forgive them, and you don't want to, because it's almost like logically I shouldn't have to. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. And when we feel that way and there's that anger behind it, spirit's like, yeah, yeah, that's how you know you need healing. You see, that's because they're triggering a wound. So they're essential for your growth. So it's like, you obviously know I can't not have you in my life, and I also can't live with you in my life. That's why I'm angry, because I'm in this power struggle between my heart and my mind. And so that's why I'm saying the person checks on you from afar. It's like they're never really gonna be that far from you. It's like they can't control it, but they're mad. It's like, and understand, unfortunately, they're not 100% ready to grow up. It's like, because it's like I'm checking on you from afar, I'm spying on you because I still have feelings, but I still can't really emotionally say, please forgive me. Destiny is taking us down different paths right now. I find you incredibly attractive. So I feel like that there's a sense of, when they say different paths, there's a sense of them trying to control it, thinking that they're also becoming aware of the healing that they need, because understand, regardless of whether you're not, they also can feel that there's a emotional and spiritual connection here, that so they're going to be a little bit all over the place, is what I'm feeling. I just want to see what will be the triggers if you get back together with this person. What are the wounds? Because you always want to look at the wounds, because if you're going to get back together with this person, the same types of situations are going to continue to play out unless you integrate the spiritual lesson. So I just want to see how you're triggering them. Okay, so dramatic, over the top behavior, creating drama for control. I feel like this is more them, that is again, and that triggers you, because it's like you're creating that. And I also feel like the combination, remember when you're in like a trauma bond, again, or that person that you're connected to is awakening every wound that you have, it's going to be dramatic. And there's going to be a lot of mirroring energy there. And then haunted, I feel like again, this person, you're haunted in the aspect of, is this going to keep replaying? I feel like they're haunted not because of you, but because of past situations. Oh, good. I'm glad that you're back. I didn't understand what happened because I was saying, I said, I know that you guys are going to go back and forth. Oh, it's still spinning? Is it working? Is it working now? Because I wanted to tell you, I don't know, maybe it's the internet because it's the 4th of July. But I wanted to tell you, and you could try and it froze again. Well, you know what? It may only froze on your end. So you could always come back and listen to it because I wanted to just pull because I know you guys are gonna wind up back together again. It's like, and I wanted to look at the triggers. I wanted to see what the triggers were. So that oh good, I'm glad. It's annoying. I don't know whether it's the fourth the neighborhood. So there's a lot of people here with their phones and stuff and fireworks. So, like I said, because I know that this is a soulmate connection and I know that you guys will be back together again eventually because you can't control love. Um, I wanted to look at the wounds. I wanted to look at what the triggers were because obviously karmic cycles are based on similar experiences, which is what you're saying. You're like, this mother effer keeps doing the same thing to me, and I keep reliving this, and I'm tired of it, and I'm hurt, and I can't. So it's like I want to see, well, what is the wound? And really, is that this person is like haunted from the past. You're haunted because you're like, I'm afraid that they're going to continue to keep doing what they do. And I told you what you need to do to make sure that they don't on your end, which is fill your cup up so that it overflows so that they can do that. But they're also, they need healing because they're haunted by their past. And as long as they keep thinking that you're going to react the same way that their past did, then it's like you're going to bleed all over me because you don't want to heal. And I think that that's actually what this separation between you and them is. This is what's happening right now. They're actually, it's bothering them. They're angry that you're like not like changing, that you're not giving in. But understand it's like because they care. Again, you wouldn't care. You know what I'm saying? So you're both kind of mirroring each other's energy, but for different reasons. And then the drama, like they want to create drama over the top energy, like to make it look like it's you, but they're projecting it almost like you're doing it. And that's which is really irritating. So don't feed it. So don't feed it because, like I said, they can only be dramatic if you feed it. And then anxiety, and now I feel like it's robbing your joy. So this person is very manipulative because they're almost like, I know what buttons to push, and if you're not going to do what I want, I'm going to manipulate you so that I still have you because I'm robbing your joy. And that's when you said, well, I cut them off, but energetically you didn't. And that's the issue. And you're like, well, because I care about them. That's right. I know. That's why you walked away. Now it's to energetically cut yourself off from them. And that's through also giving them a lot less, like not giving them anything. How about that? And giving yourself everything, because then the universe, when this is a divine connection, Wendy, spirit, the universe will bring you people that are supposed to come into your life, not just to show you a different perception, but to train your man or your woman, whoever the fuck you're with. I mean, for you, it's a man, but I'm saying for whoever we're with, that is how it's done. Otherwise, what winds up happening is that, we keep trying to change that person and the person can't do it. So God helps those that help themselves through you, again, filling up your own cup. Again, the universe brings you other people, which shows you different options, but also inevitably cuts your energy off from the person that you're connected to, that again, on that emotional level. And it scares that person because they can feel that you're no longer there, the same way that they disconnect. Oh yeah, but you don't, but that's the thing. You wouldn't be, because when you change your energy to give to yourself, Then you meet people that don't have a problem not giving you because they're giving to themselves. This person that you're connected to doesn't give to themselves because they don't really know who they are. And so, because they don't like who part of themselves are, and then is basing themselves on their past relationships, they're bleeding all over you because they're projecting instead of knowing how to heal and integrate. So, what you're doing as a soulmate in twin flame is that you're like, I'm not even doing you, because what I realize is that there's unconditional love there. So, you can't shut your energy off from me. However, and I might not be able to shut it off from you either. However, I am going to embody like hobbies and interests and raise my vibration, which deliberately will scare you. Like it will scare you because I'll be creating a whole other life. And in that, I give myself love, so I attract love. And that is how you make that person eat the karma, because you're like, okay, I'm really pissed and I'm tired of this. But you can't make a person like be like, you need to see from my end, because they're not going to see it from your end, just because it's, again, they're going to gaslight, they're going to make you feel like you're crazy. However, love, you can't distort, you can't shut off, you can't manipulate, you can't do these other things, to your you can't, like, that's, but to shape shift the experience is to, like I said, invest in yourself, because that person still cares, but what they're going to see is, I don't get anything from acting this way, and inevitably I still have feelings for this person, so I have to change my strategy in the way that I deal with you. But more importantly, you keep your fucking sanity, because when you're dealing with someone like that, there it's going to want to trigger you. So on the deeper level, you're like, okay, what's my spiritual lesson? Because clearly that I'm attached to somebody that's triggering the shit out of me, that I want. I'm never. They affect me, and Spirit says, well, no one should be able to affect you like that. And that means that there's healing there. That means that this is a divine connection, because I brought this person into your life. Obviously, if you weren't hot for them and they weren't hot for you, you wouldn't be able to like affect each other. So you're going to get mad, you're going to walk away, you're going to come back and be like, okay, I'm back, how do we deal with this again? Then you're going to get mad again and walk away and then come back. This is part of that process. But what you're learning through every single separation and come back is that the connection is about unconditional love, that they can't shut it off. However, only karmically, if you learn the karmic lesson, would you be able to transcend that experience, which means quantum jump into the better reality that's playing out, because there's many different realities that play out during one time, depending on what we do. So it means that you keep doing the same thing, which is why there's such an emotional charge there. Otherwise, you wouldn't care, which is why it's an important connection. And so what we learned is it was all about giving yourself a lot more, and why this person is doing what they're doing, and why they're trying to still hold on to you just through a manipulative way, because it's better than bad attention is better than no attention. So that and we also want to look at your triggers. Like, what are your triggers? Excluded. I felt like I didn't exist. Like this person, right? You quantum jump through, again, seeing the many different realities. Okay, that many different realities play out at one time. So when you're living a reality where this person is showing you this shit, I feel excluded, you don't like me, you're deliberately ignoring me, you're deliberately not emotionally giving me something, which is triggering an old wound that I have way before you even came in to the place, but you are activating it every single time. But I know that you truly have feelings for me, that so you change your reality by investing more in yourself and by grounding the new thing, because it's like, that the person cares about you, but you're not getting the good best result because Your action is what's making that happen. And it doesn't mean that this person's not acting wrong. They're acting fucking wrong. And because they're acting wrong, you have to change. And you change by, again, filling your cup up, investing more in you and finding your gift of style. When you find your unique process and finding yourself, that's an unfoldment process. You begin to vibrate at a higher vibrational frequency, again, which transcends this fear energy. This person that you're connected to has fear energy. You did at one point because your vibrational frequency match. However, when you walked away, that's when you raised your vibration and this person realized that they love you unconditionally. That's when they're like, okay, their ego is saying, well, I don't know, we'll still be together again because we go on and off all this time. This is just the way our relationship is. No, 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 no. This relationship has become toxic because you're trying to control, because there's parts of you that don't like who you are. And so it's, again, but by you actually creating yourself, you're becoming the example of what the person that you're connected to, your soulmate, actually needs to do also for themselves. So they, like I said, they have a desire to still want to talk to you and understand this soulmate twin flame is all about passion. It's all about attraction, because the fire element of passion is what really allows us to transcend that fear. And but understand they're still showing that they're not mature where they are in their process, Wendy, because your next question I know is going to be like, when are they going to come back? And right now, like, they check you out from afar because their ego is still pretty much running the show. And they're hoping that you'll cave. Because it's, again, who doesn't want when you have to look at your own wounds and have to take responsibility and change, and which is become vulnerable. I don't want to become vulnerable. Then this is what it is. Right, passion. Otherwise, you wouldn't be. That fire element is what transcends those wounds, because you wouldn't stick around long enough. You wouldn't. Yeah, it's, again, and you wouldn't be attracting someone that thinks differently than you, acts differently than you. Again, the twin flame soulmate does not mean that this person's your other half of your soul. It means that you have wounds where they have gifts, and vice versa. So it's kind of like they make up half, but it's not. And those, again, the passion is what makes you stick around longer to actually try to see that different way of looking at life and dealing with life, because the diversity is night and day. But understand that diversity is what triggers the wounds that we have, because it's not the way that we want. So what is this? Not this time. I'm not. No, you're not craving, because every single time this person betrays you, it affects your intimacy level. Like, I don't trust you now. I don't trust you now. And this is how karmically they ruin the relationship. However, if you disconnect from that person, this person comes back to you and they would prove to you, they could actually fix the relationship. You're just at the point where you're like, I don't see them doing it. And as a survival mechanism, I've now disconnected, which has made this person angry. And it's made me angry because they, again, don't see what they do. No, they're never going to see until you actually walk away. But the problem is, you walked away by the time you were ready to rip this person's head off their shoulders. And that's because you weren't balanced. And that meant you put up with more than you should have, dealt with more than you should have, because you weren't coming from your vibration. So what you learned through this relationship was, I need to come at my right vibration, to even whether it's going to be with him or anybody else, because you'll recreate the same life experience unless you love yourself first, invest in yourself, teach that person how you want to be treated. Person that can't give you wouldn't put up with that. And why I say that is because this person tried to play so many games to keep you stuck. to keep you in a place like where, like, again, it was all about them, and if you're busy with your life, you can't stay there long enough to do that. And if you can't stay there for long periods of time, you're not going to be mad. This means that you put up with, again, for a long time. So there's a sense that this person's ego is like, again, I know that we'll figure it out. That's why that came out. It's like, because I know that you really care about me, because, like, you keep on doing it. And that's why you're angry, because you're more angry at yourself. So you're like, I feel like I don't have any control. And that's what it said here. It says, like, I feel like, again, like, I feel like I don't have any control, because when you have feelings for someone and then they refuse to change. However, it's like you do have control because this person loves you. So it's about removing yourself. And you're like, well, what the fuck is that going to do? And be like, oh, and God says, overcome your fear of abandonment and realize that unconditional love, you can't manipulate it, you can't destroy it, you can't do whatever. You're angry right now, you're pissed off, but you're more pissed off because you're like, I feel stuck. I feel stuck to this fucking person. I feel like I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. And Spirit says you actually have more power than you think that you do. But they have made you feel like, like you don't matter. Like I said, they make you feel as that was the wound, because they had an intimacy issues, that they played a lot of games. So to take full control back is to be like, I know that you have feelings for me. Yeah, you're gonna, like, wear the mask for a while, try and ignore it, do all this other bullshit to try and emotionally manipulate me, because I'm emotionally connected to you, which is, again, what they crave and desire. However, it's what terrifies them too, because that means you can hurt them, again, and that's anybody that's connected in this type of relationship. So it's about, again, not it's like, listen, when you have that guy that likes you but you can't get rid of him, it's because you don't give them any attention. And it's because you activate that chase. So when you have a person that's like, so, like, passionate about you, to the point that the relationship is fucking difficult, well, it's, again, they can't control it. They're always going to come back. They just, because you put up with it for a long time, they're going to play a lot of different games to get you to, like, come back, which means emotionally you have to make yourself strong by giving yourself the passion. And passion not through being with 1,000 different people, but passion for life, because that's how you train them, because you're having such a good time and they can feel like you don't really give a shit that they're not there. And then they have to then say, well, why is that? Well, maybe it's because I acted like a big asshole. It's like, and maybe I should change then if, I want to be in her life, because you're not going to get anywhere by talking, by being like, you need to treat me, blah, blah, blah. It'll be like talking to, like, the towel in your bathroom. It's like, it's like, they don't, because creatures of habit. So what you're inevitably doing is making them change the way they deal with you by how you change how you deal with your own time, your own energy, and where you want how you want to create your life. And then what happens is that that person comes to a place of surrender, because they're like, no, I don't want to love this person. I don't want to, but I can't help it. They have to come to a place of surrender the same way that you would. It's, again, when it's that true divine connection. Otherwise, you're always going to be in a runner chaser type dynamic, whether you're running or they're running or you're chasing, you're going to never feel like you're balanced, because those relationships are to help you evolve into the highest state of consciousness, which is to bring you to a place of unconditional love, because there's places within you that you have detached from because of whatever you've gone through within your life. And so, again, you wouldn't learn the new perception unless Spirit brought you that type of person. So it means you have to be strong, which is usually our problem. We're like, damn it, now I have to it's like it's hard enough to emotionally be strong. And the spirit says, well, women tend to have to overcome their emotions where men tend to have to overcome their passions. It's again like learn to balance out these energies. Now, is that for everybody? I'm sure it's not. The majority women, that's the thing with women. We get emotional, and that's what these people tend to like. Any relationship likes that. And when you get close to a person, you become more vulnerable, and that's why you're like, this person I know cares about me, loves me, why the fuck does it look like this? Because they have an intimacy issue. They were betrayed. So I'm focused on my career and finances right now because I don't want to struggle again. So I feel like, again, your person's like what they're doing right now is just putting the energy into themselves. So that's what you're feeling. That's how they're trying to heal it. That's why I'm saying that's why how twin flames mirror each other. So you be working on yourself, they're working on themselves. You see? Because every time there's a separation, that's what happens, which helps each of you evolve individually. That's why that happens, so that you can be on the same vibration. Because whenever you're giving yourself love, you're bettering yourself, you raise your vibration. I can never find the right words to say to you. I push you away instead of bringing you closer to me, which is again their wound. That's a psychological reversal. It's like I have feelings, but I was never allowed to be express myself. So I feel like they grew up in an environment where they weren't supposed to be vulnerable, that they needed to, not show that softer side of self. And so when that happens is that they try to deal with you on a logical, analytical way. And we don't deal with love through cold, hard logic. That's something that's emotional and intuitive, and they're trying to cut themselves off from that part of self in order to maintain control, which eventually they'll see that they can't do that because that's the God part of self. The God part of self is that supernatural part of self that connects to each other through the unconditional love, through feeling. And so they can't do it. They won't be able to do it for long, but it doesn't mean that they won't try. No one loves me like you do. I'm ready to commit to you and our beautiful future. So it's again, they want eventually. So this is eventually what it'll lead to, but it doesn't mean, like I said, that they have to kind of see what they do. You have to make them see how they treated you by removing yourself. That's why the saying says if a person's like you're meant to be with a person, you set them free. If they come back, if they were truly yours, that unconditional love is that. Doesn't mean that they're not going to control it. It doesn't mean that you're not going to control it. We have feelings, we have emotions, we get angry, we get hurt. So, but the bottom line is it will always bring you back to that. And that's what you learn. And you learn how to surrender, and you learn how to balance out your energy so that that person can't really affect you. And in that, you train them to change because you're not affected pretty much, and that scares them. It's just again, it's all about healing. So will you be with this person? Yes, you will. And this is for anyone that has connected here today. I mean, if you were meant to hear it, this message was for you. So this person cares, but now we see what their wounds are, and we see how they play the game. Again, how those wounds are channeled out. And we also see how we can actually shape shift that situation to transcend the limitations of what we feel about ourselves, which is you make me feel like I'm not worthy. You don't make me feel like I'm loved. You don't make me feel like I'm important. And so we heal that by giving it to ourselves. And that is what forces that person to change. And that is why it's a soul relationship, because it makes you act differently, because we don't want to feel that pain. But we're stuck because we really do care about that person. There is love, that unconditional love that you can't shut off. But there's so much wounding and pain that, like, after a while, we can see how it would stagnate us. So I'm going to leave that there. If you enjoyed this message, and you haven't, give me a like. And, comment if you want your own personal reading. I forget what the word was that I chose. I think it might have been, I don't know, but I'll say the gift of style. If you listen to the beginning to the end, you can write whatever the word is. I'll take either one, the gift of style or whatever the word was that I chose, and I'll be on again. I want to wish everybody a happy 4th of July, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.